Welcome back to the Hip Replacement Podcast. I'm Chris Bystriansky, your host. I'm also a two-time hip replacement patient, one more than 12 years ago and one more than 10 years ago, and I'm here to share my experiences with you. Let me tell you about an experience I had this morning that was absolutely incredible. I swim a lot, and I love to swim, and this morning was no exception. So I did what I normally do is I take my kids to school, and after that, I go to the pool. And it was such an incredible experience this morning because it's pretty cold here in Central Florida in the US where I live. It's about 40 degrees. This morning it was about 40 degrees. And when that happens, the pool, because the water is warm in the pool and it's outside, there's this fog or this steam coming up from the water in the pool. And when I walked out to the pool from the locker room, I saw the pool, there was nobody in there, which is really strange because it's usually a very busy and active pool. But there was nobody in the pool. The water was dead calm. And since it was only about 40 degrees out, there was just steam and smoke, just not smoke, but steam coming off the water. And it looks absolutely incredible. Like I didn't want to get in the water because the scene was so magnificent. I felt like they were going to film a movie about a superhero getting in the water. It was so Hollywood-ish. If you say. And as I'm walking up to the pool, I was even wondering if the pool was open because it was on the border of it being too cold for the pool to be open. But as I got closer to the pool, I noticed two lifeguards sitting off to the side with these big jackets on, and they were wrapped in blankets. And I had to ask them, hey, is the pool open? And they said, yeah. So I was able to get in the water. And as I'm diving in, I'm standing on the side of the pool. And as I'm getting ready to dive in, I had to dive through like a fog, the steam over the water. It was absolutely amazing. I felt terrible to break the calmness of the water, but a great experience to be outside swimming in the cold temperature outside, but good water temperature to swim. And within about 10 minutes, there were other people who came to the pool. So I guess I broke the seal and people weren't afraid to go outside to the cold to swim after they saw me in there. So anyway, it was a great experience this morning. And stick around for the end of this episode because I have something really cool to share with you there. Over the years and even growing up, I read a lot of books. I've always read a lot of books. And this is why I like to read and why books, I think, are this magical thing that can really change lives that most people ignore. When I read a book, the way I look at it is that I get on any topic, all right, is that I get a longer, more detailed explanation from the authors. Why did they do that? What were they thinking? What did they do right? What did they do wrong? It makes me feel like I'm on the right path because the authors were going through something similar that I'm going through now in my life. It's as if the author or the coach, I consider authors as coaches. It's as if they're sitting with me, explaining to me how to get to a successful result. And it really validates that I'm on the right path, doing things in my life that I'm supposed to be doing or that are helpful to me, or it's kind of a wake-up call, and it helps me change course. It helps me correct, because I like to get results in my life. I like to see positive things happen in my life. And being able to tap into the brain of an author by reading their book is an excellent way to help me or anyone get to success faster. And I always take away what I consider to be a few golden nuggets of their wisdom, of the author's wisdom and experience. And I incorporate those things into how I do things. This really makes me feel more effective in whatever I'm doing. If I want to learn about a system, or if I want to learn about how to do something in real estate, if I want to learn how to write a book, I go to an author who's experienced in that particular topic. And it's great insights, it's great information. And I really attribute much of my success to the authors, to all the authors in all the books I've read in my life. Many of you may already know this, that I wrote a book, and it's called New Steel. This is actually, this is my second book. My first book had nothing to do with hips or recovering from surgery or anything. But this book, New Steel, it's about getting, and we've all experienced this. It's about getting that diagnosis of needing a hip replacement, feeling really down and defeated in life, and then slowly getting better and developing a drive for something bigger in life. And then for me, ultimately completing 2 Ironman triathlons and other endurance events to show myself and the world that I was not done in life. Life was going to knock me down, but I was not going to stay down. I was not going to live with the label of a hip replacement patient. That was not going to be my ultimate personality. I wanted to do more with my life and feel better about doing it. And the book, I'm so proud of this. The book is really a map on how to take your life from the starting point of the shock, the embarrassment, the fear of needing this type of major surgery, all the way to achieving greatness, coming all the way back from sitting in that doctor's office and hearing the news of, oh, you need a hip replacement surgery, to coming all the way back and to achieve something great. And I wrote this book to provide some context and also be a guide for anyone else facing a hip replacement surgery and going through the recovery. And you'll see a lot of yourself. If you take a look at the book, you'll see a lot of yourself in the book, because there are a lot of similar experiences that I've had and you have had, from including the fear of the morning of the surgery, going through a second surgery, going through some physical therapy, having conversations with different doctors. Now, it doesn't mean that the book is not about doing a triathlon or doing something incredibly grueling later. It doesn't mean you have to do an Ironman triathlon. I didn't write the book for that. The book, it's just simply the Ironman triathlon and the endurance events that I get to. It's just symbolic of the challenge or accomplishment that's relevant to anyone in their lives. So for me, it was the triathlons. For you, it might be something completely different. Maybe it's gardening. Maybe your end all, be all, biggest accomplishment you want in life is to finish that garden. or to go on that trip or to do anything else. For me, it was the triathlons. For you, it's something else. But the point is that we're able to accomplish great things after a hip replacement patient, a hip replacement surgery. And that's what I explain and get that message across in the book. And for a lot of the books that I've read, I always thought that it would be great. It would be exceptional. It would be a life-changing experience if I could sit down with the author and ask him or her a few questions after reading the book, just to tap further and get more information from them so that I could get as much out of that experience as possible of reading the book. So, since I'm on the other side of that equation, since I'm the author of New Steel, I want to make that opportunity available to any of you who want it. So here's what I'm going to do. I will have free live sessions for anyone who wants to attend and talk about the book and ask questions. I would love to do that with a lot of authors. So I'll make it virtual so you can participate from anywhere in the world. And I'll set up two different sessions, two different online virtual sessions. You could either participate with a camera or simply click on a button and call in. And there will be different sessions, two different sessions, because we have listeners from all over the world and viewers from all over the world, including the US, England, Ireland, Australia, and New Zealand, and everywhere else. So I'll set up an initial 2 sessions so that no matter where you are in the world, the sessions will be during your daytime. So you don't have to worry about getting up at 2 a.m., 2 in the morning to participate. So live sessions, let's connect, come, ask questions, just listen, whatever you want to do. It's a great opportunity. But here's another bonus for some people. My wife and I were cleaning out our house over the holidays. And for anyone who's ever had kids, and we have a couple kids, we just accumulate stuff. And over time, we need to purge stuff in our house every so often, because otherwise it will just accumulate and we'll be bursting at the seams with extra stuff that no one uses anymore. We were cleaning out our house and we found a box of books. We found a box of these books that I forgot about. And I was thinking that these books would be more helpful in your hands than they are sitting around my house. So I want to do something special. And I want to give you a free copy, and I'll sign it and send it to you. But all you have to do is pay for shipping. So I'll give you a free copy and sign it, and all you have to do is pay for the shipping. Unfortunately, I can only do this for US addresses only, because the cost of shipping outside of the US would simply not make sense, because it's about $40 to $50 or $60 to ship something out of the US. And for that amount of money, you could, or for much cheaper, you could simply just go buy a book much less than just paying for the shipping. So I will do the free books for US addresses only, and anybody internationally that wants it, it's available in a lot of different places. The links, there are links below in the show notes where you can sign up to attend one of the free live sessions or to request a free copy of the book, US addresses only. And I strongly urge you, I invite you, I also strongly urge you to consider signing up to attend one of the free live sessions. Whether you get the book or not, the session will be helpful and insightful. But I do recommend you get the book so you have the context. And there's also something in the book may cause you to think about an issue and ask a question that you would not have done otherwise. You would not have thought about something otherwise unless you're prompted by something in the book. Or if you attend, maybe you'll be prompted to think about something, or you'll come to a breakthrough by what somebody else says or by something that I say. So you can click on the links below in the show notes. So if you're listening to this on a podcast platform, at the bottom, you could scroll down and there are notes. And at the bottom of those notes, there are links. And you can click on the links and you can sign up for one of the sessions. And you can also request a free book there. All right. Again, just pay for the shipping for US addresses. And if you don't want to do either of those, if you cannot do either one of those, the book is also available online from Amazon or from major bookstores. It's available in multiple formats like hardcover, paperback, ebook, and audio versions. I think there's a lot in here for folks going through a hip replacement surgery and recovery. I put my heart and soul into this book, and I think you're going to get a lot out of it, whether you're getting ready for the surgery, whether you're a week past or even years past, because there are issues that come up that are discussed in the book that can be helpful to you. And for anyone who's downloaded my 12 tips for hip replacement patients on the website, that's only one page. There's a whole section of the book dedicated to those 12 tips, and I go into much more detail inside the book on those 12 tips. So I hope this short, quick, easy episode was helpful to you. I hope to see you at one of the sessions. Thanks so much for tuning into the Hip Replacement Podcast. Until next time, I wish you the best recovery possible. Take care.